What's good, everybody? And today I'm coming at y'all with a Rage 2 video. Not necessarily a review, more so a discussion of the topic of how my general thoughts and feelings towards the game and how I feel about the series as a whole. Well, anyway, I'm gonna just save all that for when I get into my actual synopsis of the game. So yeah. Rage 2 is a first-person shooter co-developed actually by Avalanche Studios. You know, the people that they're famous for Just Cause, and they also did the Mad Max game from 2015, a couple years back, and id Software. You know, Bethesda Studio. They did Wolfenstein, both of them, the last two that just came out, and I think they also did Doom. And with Rage 2, this is the sequel to the game that came out previously on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, which was kind of a commercial failure. It was very different at the time. Well, it really wasn't very different at the time. It looked like every other gray fucking first person shooter where I don't know what it is with these game developers. I just feel like they need to widen their color palette, and with Rage 2 they actually do that. I think that the aesthetic of the game fits it very much well, where it's this pink glitchy cyberpunk-esque. I don't want to say it's completely hinges on that, but it's cyberpunk-esque. But with Rage 2, it's kind of like if you throw a coat of paint over Mad Max. Yeah, if you throw a coat of paint over Mad Max, that's basically what it is, because you're driving around in the wasteland, and there's mutants and bandits and stuff like that, and there's trade towns where it's people just trying get on with life after what seems an apocalypse or whatever. I'm not necessarily sure what happens story wise in this game. I'm pretty sure I didn't need to play Rage 1 to the magnificent story of Rage, the most complex thing ever to exist. But no, I'm pretty sure it's just big bad guy, leading an army. General Cross is his name. He's mainly robot, but majority he's mainly robot, and he just has one human half, and he actually has the ability to clone himself. So if one of his versions of him die, he can continue going on. And basically the story starts out as you're just basically a no name, because you can pick your character at the beginning of this game, and whatever character you don't pick ends up dying, because you can be either male or female, which is actually a pretty nice touch. Alright, I'm Walker, you're not Walker, you're dead. Which, yeah, I will say this, the game does have some charm to it, not really much, where I think the game shines the most within the first couple hours of it, honestly. First 2 hours, really, I'm not even gonna hold you, where it's there's this big ass battle going on, and you come out there, and General Cross and his army is just trying to pull up on you, and just nah, nigga, fuck that shit. And then it's you and your best friend who you grew up with, Lily, whose mother is Erwina Prowley, who's basically your adoptive mother, because the protagonist's parents, they died, and I don't know if you learn later in the game because I haven't beat it, but I feel like I need to put out this video now in order to really capture why I might end up not beating this game. But just bear with me for a second. So Erwina Prowley, she's this badass. I'm not sure if she was in Rage 1, because I never played Rage 1. I'm not gonna hold you. It was one of those games that came out that kind of just fell to the wayside, where I was oh, that's cool. My friends played it. Apparently had co-op, but I really didn't care that much. It was just another game. You know what I'm saying? But with Rage 2, it's there's this big ass battle going on. You come out there, you're oh shit, my nigga, they getting fucked up. Some big ass monster comes. There's these super soldiers that are called Rangers, and there's this dude named Ranger Jersey who's comes in hella badass looking, and then he just ends up getting fucked up. But he does kill the big ass monster that he's fighting. So plus for Ranger Jersey, we salute you. Not really. So then you, in good old video game protagonist fashion, you take the dead man's armor, and then you just decide, all right, I'm a ranger now. I'm a bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? So let me go do some bad bitch things. You pull up, you meet your adoptive mother or whine proudly, and she's like, all right, you're wearing his armor. Go do some cool shit. We don't get to do some cool shit until after this cutscene plays out, so bear with me. We get introduced to the big bad, General Cross, and he's like, oh, I'm about to fuck shit up. And so basically the woman who probably has the most character in the entire game gets fucked up within a cutscene, like within the first like 30 minutes of the game. So then after that, you're tasked with like going to find these arcs, and basically they hold like certain like powers or weapons where you can like upgrade your suit. And every single one, you know, there's like a little training like segment where it gets you familiarized with the power. And one thing I can say about this game is that the combat is very, very fun if you like that in your face type combat, where it's just like, all right, I just punched a nigga now. Let me dash in front of him and then use like my little force push. And then like, let me just take out my shotgun and just like blast him in the face. And then there's like a revolver that has like C4 basically, where you shoot it and then you can detonate it from like far away, which is like pretty dope and sets your enemies on fire. And one thing I like about this game is that depending on if you're aiming down sights or like hip firing with certain weapons, like the pistol that you get in the beginning, if you aim down sights, it's kind of like it's like a single fire, but when you hip fire is like burst fire, which I think is pretty dope. And then there's a shotgun you get at some point where it's like if you aim down the sights, it's like a buckshot, and then like when you don't aim down the sights, it's just kind of like a slug shot, which is also pretty dope. Combat is like amazing, like definitely amazing. That was like my biggest plus about the game. The combat is amazing, but one thing when I said like Rage is kind of like Mad Max with a coat of paint, that means that one of the big elements about this game is like the driving. And just so you know, like the shooting section of the game is developed exclusively by id Software, and the open world and driving was developed by Avalanche. And I just want to know, who the hell decided, oh, Avalanche should make a fucking open world part of this game, bro? Because if you think about it, they're famous for Just Cause, which the open world and the driving in that game is not really the best. The best part about Just Cause is flying around doing the destruction and whatnot, which, I mean, Just Cause 2 holds some fond memories in my heart. Just Cause 3, it was cool. Just Cause 4, I didn't play it, but honestly, Just Cause is that type of game where after 2, it was just like, oh, I can play this for like 3 hours and then I'm bored. Like, I don't know, like, the open world in Just Cause, sure, it looks pretty, but like, there's not really anything to do in it, so it's kind of like boring, honestly. So I don't know who the fuck decided, hey, let's have these niggas do this shit. And let me tell you, the driving in this game, utterly atrocious. It's so trash. I will say that I did have fun doing like the racing segments, because it's an open world game, so it has to have something to pad out, 60 hours worth of content. Open, like the racing segments, like the closed in racing segments, because there's also like a dude who drives around, Gumball, whatever. He'll drive around and he'll be like, hey, my nigga, you trying to race? And you can just be like, yeah, my nigga, or just like, go fuck off, my nigga. And like, that's whatever. But I actually did like the closed in racing segments, where it's like, the drifting in this game, definitely ass. The fucking like, just the handling in general of all the cars feels hella sluggish. And if you're driving a motorcycle, God forbid you get on one of those things, because it's just ass. That has to be the worst handling. Like, it's Watch Dogs 1 bad, the handling in this game when it comes to the driving. Or that's a little bit overboard, but it's not far from it, goddammit. It's like Watch Dogs 1 and then Rage is only like a step above. Like, Rage 2 is only like a step above. And I'm just like, bruh. I don't know. That wasn't the way. One thing I feel like is like the open world is kind of like there's stuff going on, but it's just like I don't care, and like sure that's fine and all. Whereas like it's not fine actually. It's not fine. What the fuck am I talking about? It's not fine at all. Like there's really like certain things to do. Like there's this thing called like Mutant Box TV where if you play the Saints Row games, how they have like Professor Genki's like Funtime Climax, whatever, that shit. It's kind of like in the same vein of that, where it's like, oh, you just go around killing a bunch of people, and like it's basically wave based like arenas type stuff. Where it's like it's cool because the combat is fun. But like a lot of it is just boring. Like they have convoys, which are whatever. They have bandit dens, which it's just more like run around, kill people. And like, if the combat wasn't so good, I probably would have put this game down the first day I played it. And I like id Software as a developer because I loved Wolfenstein 2. Wolfenstein 2 was like a top tier game. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm not saying it was the best that it came out the year that it did come out, but it was a pretty solid game, story wise, combat wise, all of that. Like it was pretty fun experience. It did take some getting used to when it came to like the shooting mechanics, but it was a pretty good game. And one thing with Rage 2 is I remember like the aiming being hella clunky when I first booted the game up. I have the sensitivity set all the way to 100 for this game because like this like the aim down sight sensitivity and the X and Y sensitivity when you just like hit fire. And I have all three of those set to 100 because like it just feels so fucking slow when you're aiming, and I don't know like if that's supposed to be the design of the game, but it just doesn't feel good. And there's no auto aim for this game, where if you're playing on console, you're just gonna have a hard time being like, oh, I can't really do this. Where on PC, like I've heard that like on PC, like you want to bind your own controls because like the control settings that they have for like this on PC are just like the key bindings are just like pathetic. But on console, we don't get that luxury, which I mean is like the controls for what they are pretty good. But I just feel like the aiming could like it just wasn't what it was. But once I fixed that and put everything to 100, it was just like, all right, this is cool. And like I feel like there was a lot of potential with this game, but I feel like it would serve way better if it was like a linear story based game rather than an open world game, because this shit is so capped, bro. Like the driving boring, the characters for the most part are boring, the fucking like just the side missions and shit are boring. The only really shining thing about Rage 2 is the combat, and I haven't even gotten to the nitty gritty of what really made me upset with this game is the glitches. A lot of the glitches that I found were sound based, but that's not all of them. Where I'll get into those in a second. First, I want to talk about with the driving. There are a lot of times where you'll get caught up on. Actually, I forgot one more important thing about the glitches in this game. Where not even the glitches, but just like the driving, where where you put down a waypoint, like it'll like the waypoint system. It appears like on the road as you're driving, which other games have done it, but it's like because the roads are set up in a certain way where it's not actual streets and stuff like that, and there's no like mini map. It's just like a compass at the top. You will like be driving and then like miss where the arrow goes because it's set up on like a dirt road that just like immediately like sets off to like the left or to the right, and you'll easily miss it and then have to drive around. Another thing with driving is like there are a lot of times where you'll get caught on certain things and then like the camera will just freak the fuck out, where it's just like why did it do all that? Like it's like it just tries to like go underground, and it's kind of annoying. I don't really understand. And then there's a lot of times where your car will just get caught on something and you just can't move it. Like it literally just won't move, and you'll have to like you'll be there for like a good 3-4 minutes trying to move the damn thing so that way you can keep on going about your objective. And it's whatever, honestly. But another thing that is also a problem with this game is a lot of it has a lot of auditory bugs where like say there's like this function called overdrive where if you kill like a certain amount of enemies, you press L1 or R1 and then you can like go into like this berserker type state where like you do more damage and you're able to take more damage and you regain health while you're killing enemies. And like pretty dope. But like there were times where like I'd be playing the game and it would literally just keep on playing like the sound, because it's like a like sound cue where it's just like it muffles like everything else, and it has like this like I don't know sound effect playing where it's just like going inside of your ear. And then there were times where like I get out of the berserk state and it just keep on going, and it just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, and it got to the point where I was just like, bro, I'm turning this fucking game off because like it was literally hurting my ears. The sound just keep on, going back and forth in my ears, and I was just like, man, fuck this. And then there are times where like if you turn the game off and you reboot it, there would still be an auditory glitch going on. And I was just like, bro, what the fuck? Like, if you die, the glitch will still be going on. You turn the game off, the sound glitch will still be going on. There are points in the game where, like, you'll be talking to somebody trying to get a mission, and then there won't be any, like, sound coming from them at all. But you'll hear certain sounds where, like, say, like, there will be times where your gun is shooting, and then it just stops, and then you'll hear people talking over each other while somebody who's giving you a mission or telling you shit about a mission is talking to you, or somebody. And then there will be like times where like because there are three main people who you're like taking missions from, and they'll all be talking at the same time, because say you just got a mission and then they're telling you about the certain mission, and then you go and see like a bandit den or something like that. That's exclusive to the first guy that you meet in the John Marshall guy, and he's talking, and then you go see, oh, there's a like dead ranger nearby, and then like the scientist nigga is just talking, and then it's just like, bro, what the fuck is going on here? Like, am I having an aneurysm or something? It's just like, nah, I can't do this, cause whereas like I didn't have really any expectations coming into this game. I just thought it was gonna be like, oh, open world, shooter. Maybe like it's very Doom-esque with like the combat. That's like the best thing to describe it as. Whereas like the combat is hard, but like rewarding. Where you just like clear out a bandit, then you're just like, damn, I really fucked them up. And you really just have some moments where it's like, damn, I'm a fucking badass. Which I can appreciate, but like everything else about the game is so mid, where it's just like the only thing that's really holding them up is the combat. And that was developed by a single studio, while everything on the Avalanche side of things just falls short completely. Where I feel like if it just did like their own like story based thing going on with this, it would have done so much more. And I understand, like, the car is supposed to be, like, a big part of Rage, but when the driving is ass like this, it's like, nah. They could have had, like, a driving section, and we would have been good, fam. But, yeah, that's just my take on the game so far. I'm, like, depending on how many times these glitches persist, or how much, like, I don't really care about the story, honestly. Like, it's kind of interesting, but, like, honestly, I haven't been paying attention. I skipped through every single fucking shit because I'm either going to get like a sound glitch, the data pads in the game, which try and give you lore about the game, completely fucking useless. Like they don't provide anything that's actually interesting. Like, it's sad that the game has such like a cool aesthetic, but such bland lore, bland story. It's what you would expect. Like, there's not been a moment where I've played where I'm just like, oh, I didn't expect this. And it's very just cause, like, where it's like, you have to do, like, certain objectives in the world where it's like, oh, destroy, like, take down this bandit den, oh, destroy this convoy, in order for them to give you more missions, where it's like, all right, I can see how the Avalanche side, like, came into play here. Whereas, like, the gameplay just doesn't fit. Where it had potential, but there are a lot more things wrong with it than there are right with it, honestly. But yeah, that's all I had to say about it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it, and yeah, we'll just keep it pushing, keep it kicking. You feel me?